Today I'll be sharing the best chess books. Remember to watch till the end because these are all amazing books and they will definitely give you a great time and help you to improve. So let's get right into the video. The first book I'll be recommending is 100 Endgames You Must Know by Grandmaster Jesus de la Villa. This book goes over only the most important endgames and will give you a nice understanding that is not completely mastered yet, but it'll give you enough to get all the way to 2000. The diagrams and the descriptions in this book are very high quality, and the method that they use to help you learn is giving a test at the beginning of the book and the end of the book, so it helps you to apply and understand the material very quickly after you learn it and help it to be ingrained in your memory much longer. So where should you buy this book? I'd recommend to buy this at Chessable, Forward Chess, or Physical, or Amazon. So the recommended level is definitely anybody under 2000, but specifically maybe 1500 to 2000 players will benefit most from this book. It's about 20 US dollars, and the prerequisites I'd recommend is the basic endgames course on Chessable. This just gives you a very fundamental understanding of endgames, so you have an easier time understanding this book and learning a lot more from it. So next we have Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual. Obviously this is by I.M. Mark Dvoretsky, and he is one of the top trainers and maybe the greatest chess trainer to ever live. So this is regarded very highly as the most comprehensive guide on endgames out there. After you study this book, you won't have any reason to study endgames any longer because this covers literally everything. I'm not even exaggerating. Completely everything. This has been praised by so many grandmasters as a must read. Specifically, Vladimir Kramnik, a world champion, has said that he recommends this book to almost everyone he meets that is trying to improve, and it is a must read if you're trying to become a grandmaster or anything even close to it. I'd recommend to buy this at Chessable, in Physical or Amazon, and the Forward Chess edition, since the 5th edition of this book is going to be released in about 2 weeks, they will have it then. But they don't have it specifically right now if you're watching it at the time this video was uploaded. So the recommended level, this is a very high level book. Although many basic concepts are covered, you won't learn much from this book until you're about 2000 to 2200 because a lot of the theory and analysis are extremely in-depth and extremely high level. So I'd recommend you read this book once you're a little bit more experienced as a chess player. That's why I have not picked this book up yet. It's about $25 to $35 depending on where you get it, and I'd recommend you read 100 endgames you must know before you read this so you can get a much more deep understanding and you'll be much more prepared when you read this book. Next, let's take a look at openings. I didn't want to focus too much on the opening, although there are many books that cover it. With ChessBase and a bunch of other programs and engines, it's very easy to study openings and get a very nice preparation for maybe your tournament or maybe just your opening repertoire. But if you want to study openings, these books are a great choice. So the authors are Boris Avrukh, Mihal, Marin, Viktor Mikhalewski, Parimarjan, Negi, and various other authors. The books are at a grandmaster level because most of the people that write these are grandmasters, and they're extremely in-depth. After reading one of these books, you'll never have to look at this opening again because you'll already know what to do. One thing I really like is that they cover novelties and main lines. Many of these books don't cover novelties, but you always have to be prepared when your opponent doesn't play the best moves, because this could be because he doesn't know, or it could be to throw you off. But once you are prepared against novelties, there's no way, and you'll just be better. This is one of my personal recommendations because I have personally read Lars Sandorf's The Caro-Kann book, and it's really been helpful for me to prepare and learn the Caro-Kann very easily. So yeah, it's been highly recommended by many GMs and many players in general, and specifically if you're familiar with I.M. Sagar Shah, he recommends the English opening volumes. So where should you buy this? Forward Chess and Amazon have them in stock. I'd recommend this to players 1500 plus because before that openings aren't very emphasized and you don't really need to study them seriously. I'd recommend you put your time elsewhere if you want to improve more quickly. They're about $20 to $30. So the recommended prerequisites are various Chessable opening courses that are usually free and have a couple less variations, but they'll get you up and running and seeing if you even like the opening before buying such a large book. Next, we'll take a look at How to Reassess Your Chess by Jeremy Silman. So this is all about positional chess. Nowadays, a lot of people do like 30,000 or something tactics on chess tempo, and they're very tactically sound and they can spot crazy combinations, but their positional chess is a little bit lacking, so that's why I'm recommending this book. It's very critically acclaimed, and in the chess world, when I talk about books or what books I should read, this book is almost always recommended, and anybody that I ask who has read it always says that it's a wonderful book, and so that's what for a good reason that I'm recommending it. The way the author approaches his book is through the concept of imbalances, such as different minor pieces, what type of squares you're controlling, if you have the initiative, different pawn structures. Basically, what is different from you and your opponent, or that is called an imbalance. And once you finish reading this book, you'll be able to spot these imbalances and use them to your advantage in your various games. So where should you buy this? I'm pretty sure Jeremy Silliman did not want to release this on anywhere but physical print, so that's why it's only available on Amazon. So the recommended level, I'd say this is for 1,400 plus people would gain a lot of benefit from this, because this is kind of a starter to positional chess. Although it is a very, very long book, positional chess is a huge topic, so you can't really put it all down in one book. It's about $20 on Amazon currently, and there aren't many recommended prerequisites. Next, we'll take a look at another positional book, which is Positional and Dynamic Decision Making in Chess by Boris Gelfand and his assistant Jacob Agard in writing this book. So this is a wonderful book because it puts you in the mind of a super GM. What does a super GM think through when they're playing a chess game? Boris Gelfand was actually a world championship challenger, and if you don't know what that means, he was the second best player in the world at that time. So you kind of just get the correct thought process from these books. How should you think about a chess game? And it's very useful because after you read this, you can, not like an opening book where if you don't play that specific opening, you're not like really using the information. You'll be able to use this information in every single game. And he also approaches this book with a bunch of model games where he goes through his annotations and his thought process against very, very skilled players at different points in the game. So where should you buy this? You should buy this obviously physically. You can, like all the others. And I've highlighted Chessable in this instance in red because it is on Chessable, but the translation and the importation on Chessable is quite subpar, so I wouldn't really recommend buying these books on Chessable. So the recommended level, these are kind of for 1,500 plus players, kind of a little bit more than Jeremy Silliman's book, but not much. A lot of people can benefit from this definitely, because it's more about thought process and not specific theory. So these are between $20 and $30, and the recommended prerequisites could be How to Reassess Your Chess by Jeremy Silliman, but I don't really think it's necessary, and it's not the most necessary thing that you need to read it. It's just something that would be great if you could, because it'd give you a little bit higher understanding before you moved on to this book. Next, let's look at the self-improvement books, which is Pump Up Your Rating and the Shereshevsky Method in Chess. So these books just tell you how to improve in chess and what you should be doing and how you should approach different aspects of the game, because we won't all want to improve, but if we have a set plan and set methods, it'd be much easier and it'd be much more efficient. So basically they give the how and why to studying, and these definitely have proven results, and they're from very trusted sources. Specifically, Mihal Shereshevsky is one of the greatest Soviet coaches, so he's coached a lot of these top players with these methods to become very, very high-level chess players. Next, Axel Smith is a Grandmaster, but after teaching these methods, many people have achieved Grandmaster norms and very high performances. So where should you buy this? You can buy this on physically, like everything else, as I said before. But specifically, I'd like to mention New in Chess because they're having a deal for this week, which allows you to buy this book for the Shereshevsky Method for only $10 digitally. I'd recommend this for 2,000 plus players, so fairly advanced players. This is more for people that want to get to that titled level and they want to really, really go from such an intermediate club player to a master. There aren't really recommended prerequisites because this is mainly just a self-improvement method, so there won't be many things or theory that you need to learn that would make this need prerequisites. Lastly, let's take a look at tactics book. There are many tactics books, but I just think this is the best, so I'd only like to mention this one. So it's by Axel Smith, just like Pump Up Your Rating in the last slide, and Hans Tikkanen. And this book has a very, very unique approach that kind of revolutionized the chess world. The approach is there's about 1,000 or so tactical problems, and in the first cycle, they want you to finish all those 1,000 problems in about a month. Then they want you to redo them and finish them in about 15 days. Then they want you to redo them again and do them in 7 days. Then they want you to redo it again in 3 days, and you get the point. Until you can do the book in a single day. That's when you basically have completed this book. So the why they choose this method is because it's all about pattern recognition. This will help you to spot tactics in your own game from common patterns and common piece placements. And also, this book has been proven results because Hans Tikkanen, after working through this book and working through the problems, he achieved his final GM norm through many tactical improvements in his play. So where should you buy this? You can buy this physically, but Chessable has a wonderful cycle review mode that has specifically been designed for this book, and it'll help you keep track of the cycles, and you won't have to set up all the 1,000 problems on the board or on chess base or something, which will take a long time. For the recommended level, definitely 2,000 plus. Just like many of Axel Smith's work, it's mostly for people who are trying to become a GM or a master. But I've a lot of ambitious players, even though I've mentioned a lot of advanced recommended levels for the books before, if you're an ambitious player that's a little bit lower than this, you definitely can start many of these books I've recommended. It was just going to be a little bit harder for you. All the links will be in the description for these books I mentioned, so it'll be very easy for you guys to access if you would like to purchase them. Remember, I hope you enjoyed these books, and I hope you learn a lot from them. Remember to stay fundamental, stay tactical. This is Fundamental Tactics Chess, signing out. Thank you.